All made it back to the championship ring.
Yep. All right, guys, welcome back. Episode 8.
New week. And once again, we don't have Gumby.
Nope. Sorry, guys.
He's a difficult man to get a hold of, and we're going to pass on him for now, and maybe later down the road we'll circle back with him. I think that we kind of got a full schedule for the next while.
We've got a derby here in Utah in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so today we got Jayden Abraham coming on. We're going to chat with him, and
he's running a team at Red Rock Rampage.
Yeah, and we'll figure out what else he's doing. So give us a second. We'll get him on, and we've been having a little bit of he's got on the camera, but we've had some sound issues, so he's working on that. So he'll be right over, and we'll get right back with you.
We'll be back. So we have Mr. Jayden Abraham, Mr. X7. How are you?
Oh, just running around like a chicken with my head cut off, like always.
Well, that's good. That's that right there is derby in general. If you're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off, especially when it's you're getting down into those final days before a derby, it seems like you're trying to do work, family, and then you gotta get that car done, and you're waiting on parts and finding parts, and it's fun.
Yeah, then shit's
it never ends. In fact, I just had to order more because no bead protectors on rims really messed me up.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I think that's why. I think that's how ours was as well. In Stern Dirt, decided they wanted to do bead protectors just because everyone has wheels with centers and bead protectors, and that way you can interchange cars no matter what class you're in. So
yeah, I think when I designed shirts for Eric for Red Rock Rampage, I had a tire on the front of the car that had bead protectors, and that's not
you're allowed the center, the small center, but you can't do the lip protectors. So that really made things interesting.
Gotcha. Well, Jayden, first, let's start off with a couple questions. How long you been derbying? When did you start derbying?
Started in 2003, so this will be my 22nd year, I believe.
I think that's the same year we started. Pretty damn close.
Yeah, 2003 was our first year.
Yeah, that's right. Became Dirt Dog.
That's
from a long time ago.
How many derbies do you think you've driven in? How many cars do you think you built in that 23 years?
Back then, I was young, dumb, and would take anything that I could just find on the street. But I have no idea. Honestly, I used to build 5 a year when I first started with my buddies down here, and then it's getting less and less and less because less time with family, and everything. But
and the rules adapted, so it took a lot longer to build a car too.
And it also costs a hell of a lot more to build a car than it used to.
Oh man, Heber was probably the most, when I ran that 2 years ago, was the most I've ever spent. But I was trying to upgrade my build game because, believe it or not, everybody is 5 years ahead of me. Just because I'm cheap. I don't know why. I can't spend the money.
I'm the same.
I think there's more than you realize that are 5 years behind. I mean, even me, like when I was building with TJ, he was always 2 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
Every nice part that ever hit the market, TJ always had 2 years before I did. And every time he'd get it, I'm like, you don't need that. And then like within that 2 years, it cost somebody money. And I'm like, all right, you need that.
It's crazy what you just think that little bit more is giving somebody else a different edge over you.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about this many times. I mean, how many times have you seen a derby won literally by one more hit? Like when there's two cars that are just barely going and it just takes one more hit to get you there.
Yep.
More times than not. And that actually happened to me in Richfield one year with Paul Cox. And it come down to both of us fighting to get our cars going. And literally he just had that one more hit that got me. And I was like, you sucker.
Yeah, that's all it takes is literally just one more hit. And the way I've always looked at it, because I'm not trying to bash on my brother here, so if you're listening to this, I apologize. But he's always been that person. Like when we would go buy cars, if there was two of them, I'd always take the cleaner one and pay a little more money. He'd take the rest of your one and pay less money.
I'm with you, Bill.
And for me, it was always like, hey, if I spend $250 more to get that much cleaner of a car and it gets me one or two more hits, that $250 could turn into $1,000 or $1,500 in prize money.
I will give you that.
And so that's how I feel about parts too. You can either buy the like just a cheap thing, or you can get the one that's actually going to work and last.
Yeah, a wise bald man once told me the more money you put into it, the better success you'll have. And the 1 year I actually listened to him, I won Heber. So,
Well, I'm still waiting on that win. I've never won, to tell you the truth.
Really?
22 years. I've actually been screwed out of it 3 different times.
Wow. Yeah, because I've seen you there at the end a bunch.
Okay.
Delta. I think Delta twice. And then
Rabbit Rumble or the 4th?
I think both. Rabbit Rumble was when Andrew Tagg won it.
Okay.
And I mean, to clarifications to Rob Dwyer's rules, I didn't do a half a car hit. Did a quarter car hit, but I pushed him a football field length with the car.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. Once was in Wayne County. They didn't see me make a hit. And whatever. And then, once was in Richfield when I could have won it against Paul Cox there.
Okay.
So that's
Red Rock Rampage might be your. I feel it.
I have a feeling I have too much of a foot for this build.
Maybe just a little.
And too big of a hothead. I can't keep it together for the life of me. I get hit wrong and it just triggers that foot to go to the floor, and that's game over.
Yeah, I've got that same deal. I don't mind when it's just like derbying and you get hit and stuff, but
yeah,
every once in a while you take one of them hits that you're just like, what the hell? And it triggers you, and then you're just mad.
I had that in UTC a couple years ago when Dwight hit me off the go and I seen red. So
yeah,
the only car.
I think we've all had those a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, usually it's when I'm going out there with a game plan, and then I end up like in a cluster, and then I just get pissed, and then my foot's to the floor, and then I usually destroy the car, and then that's that.
Well, I'll tell you what, the year you drove in Heber, man, you drove your ass off.
Yeah.
And you had one heat run.
Luck of that derby. I out there in the heat, lost my tire. My tire rod bolts broke because I was cheap and didn't buy a grade 5 and off. Then went out there in the grudge and lost my wheel bearing. That was a rough one because I was too worried about making sure Devin Germain's car was running. That making sure. I mean, that's a lot of stress building a car for somebody.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did build one for him. That's awesome.
Especially when he drove all the way from Canada, and I'm like, oh man, dude, this is a lot of pressure.
Right.
But he got what he wanted. As a mad dog, and I'm super proud to be part of that.
Yeah. So you're building for Dixie.
Yep.
And do you care to share what you're building?
I'm building an 80 Crown Vic.
80 Crown Vic.
A box Vic.
And then did you switch it and put a Chevy drivetrain in it? You still run the Ford?
No, I put my Chevy. Well, I broke my block in Heber last year, believe it or not. Hitting hard I hit Zach Carter, and Casey was picking on me pretty nice on the rear end. And so I cracked the block. So I had to reblock this one. Kenny Keller gave me a camshaft, so I rebuilt this motor again. And so it's a little bit more wild than I'm used to.
That's not
so it's going to be interesting. Chevy power plant. You can't run a braced rear end, so I had to go buy a whole different 9-inch, and then you can run the postal pads, like the mounting brackets. So this is actually an expensive build, which is supposed to be cheap because I'm not set up for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that first initial year when you get into any new class, it takes you a minute to figure out the rules, and then you got to figure out exactly what parts you're allowed to use. And obviously, you want the best parts because you're trying to
Yeah.
be competitive. So, but like it's like that second go around, you seem like you can do it a
It'd
lot
be a
cheaper.
lot easier.
I mean, it was like when I went to Gold Rush, I spent insane amount of money getting ready for that show and going out there. And now that I have everything, I think
Probably
I
be
could
half
build.
the cost.
I think a third.
Yeah.
I think I could do that car for a third of the cost now. But that one cost me so much money. I've been scared to go back. So this year, I
Kind of my problem.
yeah.
That was it's expensive to go up there and do 2 day shows. I didn't think it'd be that bad, but it was.
A little hard
My
on the pocketbook.
started to blowing tires on the way up. I blew 3 tires by the time I hit Heber, and
On the trailer.
yeah, on the trailer. I was
Oh
not.
heck, that's just that's not a good start to any weekend.
Nope.
No matter if it's you're headed to a derby, camping, or even work. I mean,
Yeah.
3 tires. That's a bummer deal.
3 tires, 2 gas cans because my gas cans broke when I was trying to get the jack out. So then it was it was a good time. I mean, you guys put on a hell of a show, but man, my luck was not there.
Yeah, I think that anybody that's derbied competitively over a long period of time have many stories like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just like last year on the way to Manti, we had
Oh yeah.
both my brothers were going, and I had 2 cars going, and I had my kids' Power Wheels, and so I had to borrow a trailer because my brother was using one of my trailers, so I had to borrow a long one for me, and then uh, we got like all the cars loaded on. In the meantime of putting the ramps up, I smashed my finger,
Oh.
and then on the way down Provo Canyon, we about lost grave diggers off the back of the trailer, so we had to pull over and redo that whole situation. And then in Nephi, one of our trucks broke down, and I'm going to share this story because this is pretty funny. We were at the Nephi exit, turned to head up Nephi Canyon towards Mount Pleasant and all that, and we had a truck break down on us. And we literally walked over to the gas station and asked some guy, I said, "Hey, you going to Manti?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, $100 if you tow a trailer there for us. So some guy literally came over, hooked on this trailer and towed it. But we literally pulled in like 15 minutes before showtime. And it was a disaster, but that was one of those shows.
Yes.
It's just bad luck the whole way there. Another story for us on the way to Gold Rush, we had 2 trucks and 2 trailers, one with cars and one with all of our tools. And on the way there at Rock Springs, we got a hole in the intercooler. So old Shane went inside and got some JB Weld and a plastic spoon and shoved in the hole and JB welded it. And we drove all the rest of the way to South Dakota like that. And then on the way home from the casino one night, we let Nate Nichols drive. Nate, if you're listening, you're still an idiot, bud. He jumped the truck over like an 18-inch curb and like jacked up the diff. And on the way home, we lost a pinion bearing in the rear end of that truck.
Oh Lord.
So, anyways, we had a hell of a run going out there. So Jade, I know how you feel, and I guarantee most people listening to this have had a story like that.
Oh yeah.
Over the years.
I've had a couple.
Tyson up there, going up there too with that truck he borrowed.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Same year. I mean, it's just sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Yep.
It does.
So, who's your teammate for this show?
My teammate is Sean Brown. I've never met the kid. I've never seen the kid drive. I wasn't going to do it, and Joker was asking me to do it, and I wasn't going to just because I couldn't think of anybody that wasn't already teamed up that was, so whatever. This kid called me out of the blue, and he says, "Hey, I've been looking for a teammate. You just want to go?" And I'm like, "Well, dude, I don't know anything about you, and I promise you, if I show up to that derby alone, it is not going to be cool." Like I was serious heart to heart with that kid, and I says, if you're gonna do this, you show up.
Yeah.
Outside of your motor blow up, you better be there.
So I mean, we're 10 days away. Is he still gonna make it?
He said he just got it done yesterday, outside of paint.
Oh, nice.
So
He's
him
ahead
and-
of schedule.
And so where is he from?
he's actually it's actually Eric Brown's little brother.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Nice.
Well, he's from down Peters, St. George, Hurricane. I'm not down there somewhere.
Okay, so he obviously is gonna have a good car because
Eric knows how to.
yeah, I mean you got the family.
Yeah.
90s town car.
Nice.
If I remember,
Now-
that's what
Do you know how many teams are signed up for the show right now?
I think they were still trying to fill 2 more teams to be in full. I think they were wanting. I can't even remember what they wanted for teams. I think it was 18 teams or something, or 12 teams, or I can't remember. And they were still short. And it sounded like Joker was saying a lot of teams weren't going to make it just because they just shit luck, you know.
Yeah.
No, that happens at every show. I mean, you can pretty much count 10 to 20% of your cars not showing just because
Yeah.
of bad luck.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, life happens. People can't
Oh, yeah.
get around to building the cars. They have, financial expenses come up to where they can't put the money in their cars.
Well, and a lot of those cars that are going down to Hurricane aren't necessarily from there, and that's quite a little John from.
Yeah.
Guys, Oregon, Washington, California, I think Arizona, and there's Utah,
Pretty sure
I
there's
think
a Colorado
Idaho.
team in there too.
Colorado. Yes, I think a Colorado team. And then I think Zeb was driving with his little brother or cousin or nephew or something.
Ev is signed up with, I want to say
Is it-
Braxton Anderson,
His
right?
nephew.
Yeah, nephew. So yeah, there's
That's a haul down there. I mean, for most people in Utah, even including the out-of-staters, but I do like the location of it for, especially for California coming
Yeah.
in, even parts of Colorado, Arizona. It's a good location that way. We had a great time down there last year. Even take the Derby out of it, we had a good time.
It's a great location for a derby, especially when you're taking family.
Yeah, I
And
was going to look into this, but I swear that Easter is usually like already over
Yeah,
by
it's
now.
usually towards the end of
I
March.
don't know why it's so late this year.
yeah, that one. I told my wife I signed up. She was not happy. The weekend.
That's honestly why I didn't sign up. That, and if it was Old Iron Wire Weld, I probably would have pushed harder.
Yeah.
Just because I prefer those classes. I've ran the 80s wire, and dude, I can't keep drive lines in to save my life. I've given up on that class.
We talked about it on the last episode that Brad Bowman isn't Brad Bowman in an 80s wire car.
It just no.
There's something with a Cordova and a driveline with me. Also, it's the worst.
That's always been my bad luck car.
Yeah. So, what'd you say your teammate's name was again? I apologize.
Sean Brown.
Sean Brown.
Sean.
Yep.
Do you and Sean have have you guys talked about how you're planning on driving down here? Are you guys gonna try to run the table? Are you guys just there to junk stuff? Are you gonna draw heats and see what happens?
Honestly, we've not even talked about it. Really, I mean, we haven't talked to the kid since the day he talked or called me. So I'm going out there with my hands tied behind my back, and it's time that we probably need to have a conversation and say, how are we going to do this? But I've talked to Chance Begay. He's running down there too. And he says the kid drives with a level head. And so he may be the calm to my storm, and he may be the reason we do good. I don't
He
know.
can be the strategic one, and you'll go out and be the hammer.
Yep. Well, that's my style, I guess. I'm getting soft in my old age, but
I think we have to with how
It hurts.
we become as we get older.
Oh yeah. One thing about a team show is, I mean, have you driven a team show, Jayden?
this is my first one. So
Okay, this is your first one.
somebody I knew and knew their driving style and a good combination. Just everybody else was teamed up, or obviously being Easter weekend, that
I'm actually love team shows. I would prefer driving even a 2-man or 4-man. It doesn't matter. I would prefer to drive a team show over singles, and I think that's just because I've driven singles so many times.
Right.
That the team show concept's so much more fun to me. The thing that you'll notice that was you find yourself looking for your teammate a lot, and I don't think you need to do that as much.
No.
Right.
I think you just need to keep an eye, like you need to keep an eye out and make sure your teammate's not in trouble, but
Right.
you don't need to protect them. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people go into a team show with the mindset of like, I've got to take care of my teammate. And it's like, oh, you just got to make sure your teammate's not in trouble.
Yep.
And so I think you're going to enjoy it. I've always enjoyed the team show aspect. The 2-man is hard because if you get a team that has 2 really good drivers on it, like you'll be battling one for a minute, and then you got the other one kicking your butt for a minute, and it's kind of funny because sometimes, like, if their cars are painted the same, you get one guy beating up on you, so you get mad to go retaliate on him, and you start hitting the other guy, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah, you get derby vision out there pretty easy. It doesn't take much to just use, and it just sets you off.
What have you ran a Crown Vic before, like the '80s box Vic in this style of rules?
No. The only other car, well, Jared Lazenby's rules back in Kings of Destruction, but I mean, not really the same. But I guess I don't know.
Yeah, because they were a little more on like the limited weld side.
Yeah.
So I've not run a Vic wire. I've only ever ran Caprice, like the box Caprices.
Yeah. I think the Vics are better cars, personally. Just watching them on the track, they seem to maybe they're not necessarily strong, but they seem to fold a lot better.
Yeah.
So, well, everybody's car a lot better. Mine just goes like a marshmallow. So
sounds like you have the same luck I do.
So are you taking the family down, and like, are you guys staying the night down there and making a weekend out of it?
So my wife's making me go on Friday, I guess, so I can do family thing Friday, my thing Saturday.
There's some fun parks to take your kids to.
Yeah, we'll be hitting up a bunch of parks if I can find places to park my car and stuff. But
yeah. Are you staying in Hurricane or St. George, or?
You wanted to stay in St. George, but I'm going to stay in Hurricane just because I don't want to drive a trailer back and forth from St. George.
Yeah. We found an Airbnb down in Hurricane last year, and it was awesome. I mean, it 6 bedrooms, and it like had access to a pool, had a lazy river in it. I mean, my wife was like mad that the day we were loading up, she was mad that we weren't on the road already. She was like, "Let's go." I'm like, I'm still trying to finish this. Yeah, and I legit never even got to go in the damn pool because we had a couple of things we had to fix on our car that were just the stupidest things that we just didn't read the rules correctly. Like, I had to move my trunk all thread literally like 1.5 inches backwards. And so to cut it off the frame without cutting your frame and ruining the all thread, and then we had to like use come alongs to like bend it backwards and then re-weld it. And we had to do that on 2 cars. And by the time it was over, the day was shot. And then the next day we spent most of the day down at the track, just hanging out, checking things out.
Before, I've never ran down there. I'm worried about tire combinations. All the things that I've done in 22 years. It's like combination of tires and what to do.
Right, it's pretty sandy.
It is. I would say on the rear, I'd probably run a little bit taller tire than you think you would, just to keep yourself going.
Right.
I feel like those skid tires bury yourself pretty fast when you're out there.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still tall. Like, it's when you start getting down. Like, I wouldn't be running 25-inch or hell no to 23-inch tires.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7's on right now.
Yeah. And the other than that, I mean, I felt like throughout the show the track packed pretty well.
Typical
It's just
stance.
getting through those first couple heats that's a little shaky.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, hell, we had here in Heber, we had to beg them to make the track harder, and they kept telling us no, 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 and we
That's perfect.
we finally got their approval last year to make it harder, and then this year they've agreed to try to make it even harder because I actually think that I mean our dirt is still loose enough. You're going to dig holes and it's going to turn up, but I hate when people out there just buried and stuck.
Yeah.
Bear with me. My wife decided she wants to leave right now. It's loud.
You're good. So besides, what are you looking forward most to the team show?
See what it's like to, well, I mean, I guess it's Utah. We have teams anyways because we're all buddies, you know. So obviously,
There's no team driving in Utah. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'll leave it at that. Sometimes you're on the good side of the team. The other side, you're 7-on-1, and you don't know what hit you.
Been on both sides.
Yeah.
I have too, and it hurts like a son of a bee.
Yeah.
But just the experience of the team driving, and how I've run basically all I've ever run is hard cars forever, minus these wire cars. So I kind of wanted to try a little softer build just to challenge myself, get away from the same people that I seem to run with over and over and over again.
Oh,
so, I don't know, just somewhere different. Never run Hurricane, so that was a plus. Different promoter, give him a try. You know, I've heard good things about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously you're going to hear bad things because that's just how it goes when you're a promoter. You're going to get both sides.
The dickhead, depending on who you ask. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what drives me nuts though about Derby is these guys will sit here and bash on a promoter for this or that, but they're not promoting shows.
No.
I mean, after coming to this side, I mean, when I go to like certain shows, like I do get anxiety watching some of the mistakes they're making. Like that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But
I'll just leave it at Halloween Havoc last year in my heat. I won't say any more about it, but I left there livid. And I mean, they made a call that wasn't good, but they make the call, and that you just live to fight another day and walk. I mean, it doesn't do any good to.
No.
All it does is make yourself look like a jackass in front of some people, and you're going to see him again somewhere down the line if you're going to continue to do this sport.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't do you any good. It really doesn't.
I will tell you, as a promoter, I've had my ass chewed for things that completely out of my control. I've had people complain to me about, getting called out 2 seconds too soon. I've had, like all the arguments, but
driver's doors.
But at the end of the day, I actually do and like when people come and tell us like, hey man, I don't feel like this was right. Or like, hey, why did this call? Because we can't get better if we don't know about it. But I will say that there's definitely a way to handle it. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I had a lot more of a hot head and I would go and yell at people a little bit here and there. But now, like I'll go home. Like you said, you leave mad, but then I'll call them a day or two later and discuss it with them and see why.
Nothing frustrates me more than like watching a driver get out of his car pissed off while the derby's going and running over the car bitching at an official.
Yeah.
And watching the track and
I've seen it, and all that does is make that driver look really, really bad.
Yep.
But on the flip side, we have a lot of time and a lot of money in this, and we're out there competing, and emotions are high.
No, and I'm not against going up and saying your piece, but wait until the heat's over.
No.
So you're not putting any.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that, like, emotions are high and people are going to get mad. I mean, I've literally seen, I've been a part of it, but you have friends arguing on the track. You've got competitors arguing on the track after the heats. Like, then, like for the whole next week, you got people calling each other. That's the one thing that has probably ruined Derby for me the most is the negativity.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get
Negativity is probably the worst on this whole sport. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, you get these guys that get on the internet and tell you everything you should and shouldn't do, but they don't offer to come help. They've never done it. They've never been in your position.
Nope.
I mean, I would say a lot of times these people aren't even driving anymore or have never driven.
Oh yeah.
But they're telling you what you're doing wrong, and like.
My favorite's the spectator in the crowd that bitches at you for something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And has never built a car one.
Yep. That was a stupid call.
They didn't single me out, but I'm pretty sure the comment was directed at me. Just 2 weeks ago when I was in Madison, somebody put on there that I was either brain dead or blind. But I assure them that we know what's going on, but there's a lot of communication going through the headset on why calls are going certain ways.
And that's the part that a lot of people don't understand when you're not a promoter, that,
there's a lot going on.
Making the call. It's everybody across the board that's on the berm, and even the people that are up in the suite commentating and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone has their opinion. And I'll tell you, like when you're on the berm, you think differently than when you're in the bleachers. That's for sure. And then, I mean, I don't know how many times, Jayden, I guarantee you'll agree with me on this. How many times have you gone out there and like, oh man, I tore shit up, and then you go home and watch the video and you're like, I didn't do shit.
I stopped watching video for that.
Lots of times. I've won Mad Dogs, and I'm going, how the hell did I win this?
That right there, I was like, well, I don't watch Derby on TV because I'm like, it's not the same.
No,
it's not the same as being there in person. So
I can't watch anything. I don't watch anything online just because I get so mad.
Yeah,
but it's not. But I went out to Capital City Carnage and watched that. Nothing like it it's totally different in person. Like, holy hell.
So my wife went with these guys to Madison to help Ultimate Derby, and I told her, I said, be prepared, because when you get out there, everything you've ever seen in Utah looks dumb compared to the shit you're going to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different world. And, like there's parts of going to like Blizzard Bash or Capital Carnage or
Gold
Rush or Madison. Like, there's or you go there's a bunch of shows across the nation, but the things that work at certain shows don't work at other shows, and I think that is proven right here in Utah.
Yep.
Things that work here might not work 20 minutes over the hill in Camas or in Coville or West Jordan, South Jordan, because different dates, different tracks, different regulations put on by the fair board or the county or whatever. So not everything's built equally.
Identical.
And I would say 8 out of 10 promoters are truly doing the best that they can and know how. I do think there's a couple promoters out there that are just a volunteer from the city. Like, I mean, I'm going to pick on Juab just a little bit, but theirs aren't technically really promoters. It's literally like their fair board committee.
Full-on volunteers.
Yeah.
But those guys have a lot of passion. Yep. I've been to other shows here in Utah, which I'm not going to name, that assign somebody like, oh, you're in charge of the Derby this year. And then a week before the Derby, you're like, are you guys still having a Derby this year? Like, what are the rules?
Our local Lions Club was like that.
Yeah. I mean, Richville was an example. Like, those last couple of years, nobody even knew if they were having a Derby and when it was going to be.
Yep. The Basin.
So, yeah, I mean, the Basins had that. Like Camas a couple of years ago, they didn't even put out payouts or rules or anything till like the 12th of July.
Yeah.
And now they've got
drivers.
Yeah, they've got a couple of guys now up there, Rummel and Walsh up there. They've been putting the information out at least in like January, February, so
Yeah.
people can, and their car counts have started increasing again because they're getting the information
Well,
back
and those
out
guys
there.
advertised all last year. Every derby you went to, you seen their car pulling the power wheels.
Yeah. I do think that it takes a little bit of effort on a promoter side to create a successful show. But I'll tell you, like the first year that Ryan and I took over Heber, we honestly had no idea what we were doing. What we did was we kind of looked at everything that we liked at a show that somebody else was doing, and we just copied that. And now 4 years later, we've expanded so much. We came up with some really good ideas of our own. But the first year, we stole ideas from every derby we've ever been to.
With your own twist. I don't want to say you stole everybody's shit because you guys brought.
Yeah, you twisted in your own way to make it your own. And honestly, when I ran it up there, it was well put together. You guys, that was honestly the first place I've ever ran that you guys were handing out water in the arena. I had your whole crew looking for my steering shaft I think it was after the grudge or something. And it was awesome.
Well, and I take pride in hearing people tell us that because we've put together a really awesome staff, and some of the members have come and gone. We've added, we've lost. Sometimes we get people on a 1-year rental, whatever it be, but we have a really good core of staff up here, and I feel like everybody that's helping us truly is trying.
Well, and they all bring something different to the table, even with ideas and stuff.
Yeah, and we've got so many great ideas this year. If they all work out, this Heber's going to be one of them shows that you just not even want to be a driver. You just want to be there to watch because, like this year, the county we've kind of got together and we came up with some really great ideas for the spectators. So it's going to be an event I think you truly don't want to miss just because it's fun no matter where you're at. If you're in the pits, we've got a lot of cool things happening there. If you're our drivers meetings are going to be really good this year. We've got some great ideas. Like we've changed up a bunch, and here we are in our 4th year. That's probably one of my complaints at some of these other derbies, though, is they find something that works
and then they stick to it,
and they just do
it and don't change.
Every year they just do the same thing, and we literally took our fair board director and assistant director to Gold Rush with us this year, just so they could see the vending, see the track, to see all the different moving pieces so that they understood what we were asking for back here.
And that's
one thing I wish Utah would get involved with more would be getting vendors around. I know they're all more back east, all the big vendors and stuff, but that'd be cool to get that around here. Or I see like the Jermaines and stuff, they do like a swap meet, and that's one thing that Utah doesn't do. And I think that'd be a pretty cool idea if somebody could organize it. But man, I don't want to be that guy.
Well, we're doing a little bit harder push this year to get vendors there to kind of create that experience for our drivers. Not all of it's derby related, but we got some snack people coming in, drink people. We had people at our derby last year doing mini tattoos and stuff. But Jayden, you hit it right on the head. We've literally talked about it. We haven't put a plan in motion, but we've talked about doing a swap meet where everybody shows up Saturday, and we find a section where you basically lay out all of your stuff for 1 hour from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. You can just pull your trucks up, put everything on your tailgate or whatever, and it's kind of like a yard sale. You can bring tires, rims, bumpers.
I like that.
Whatever. We've talked about doing that, but we haven't came up with a great idea. But if we can swing it, I definitely would like to do that because
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be good to get together, see people, swap parts around, or you never know.
Yeah, I've got oodles of wheels and tires and other things that I don't need anymore, bumpers, but there's like other parts that people have that I want. And so it'd be cool to either do like a swap meet straight up or, sell and take your cash over next door and buy someone else's parts.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that because we've talked about it in the past, but like you kind of give us a new spark to restrike the conversation up and try to get that going.
Now the next question is, are you going to come to Heber?
Hold on, before he answers that, don't you usually have like a family reunion that weekend?
No, it was Country Fan Fest.
My wife's family, the one freaking year, goes to Country Fan Fest that time. And she was madder than hell because that was the only weekend that I could get Christy and Devin to come to run. So I blame them if they're watching. It's all your fault that my wife was mad that weekend.
Dang it, Christy.
But I mean, I don't want their schedule, man. I was with Snap. I mean, the only way I can talk to her is Snapchat. But I mean, she was. It was 3 days trying to get her schedule lined up for me to build her a car, and it started with me buying. I had a mini car I was going to build for my kid, and then he just would not for the youth oval down in Hurricane, and he just would not. He did not want anything to do with it. So I sold that car to Devin to run down in Vegas, and then COVID hit, and then that car sat there for 2 years, and I'm like, Christy, all right, what are we doing with this? Because you bought this car. I owe you something, and I know you guys want the Utah experience. Where's this work? And they says, well, July is pretty well open. I said, okay, Heber, let's go. I'll build you an 80s wire car. Let's go. And it worked out.
Well, Jayden, if you're not going to Country Fan Fest and the wife can swing it, you need to get up here, get you a hotel because we've got some great ideas. It should be a fun weekend.
The good news is Country Fan Fest was canceled this year. So
Well, and the funny part about it is all my family members, they were miserabler than hell.
it was
a
hot.
hot weekend. It was hot.
Brutal.
And they said, man, it was just miserable. Generators running all over the place. And I'm like, well, it wasn't any better in Heber. It was hot. It was miserable, but it was a good time.
Yeah, that was the hottest I can remember Heber being.
It reminded me of the old days of Hot Rock and Forth where it's just so damn hot you're miserable the whole time.
I mean, that year sparked another idea for us. We didn't get it in place last year, but this year we're planning on doing like cooling towers through the whole pits for people because 2 years ago was miserable.
I swear I had heat stroke that after working on my car. I literally pulled it up, got it inspected, left, went to my hotel room, put my shower as cold as it could go, sat under there for, I bet, 40 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, crap, I got to go. It's driver's meeting. And I come in halfway through the driver's meeting, and I was like, well, this whatever. I was done.
Yeah. It's exhausting. It's a lot of hard work. And I mean, sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it's not. I mean, when I left Gold Rush, I left really deflated because I just wanted to do better than what we did. And I felt like that we were this close to doing better and
Right.
we couldn't do. But like once I got home and I mean, because that was a week, we were gone Sunday to Sunday. But once you get home and kind of sit back down and get a couple good meals in you and get rehydrated, you're kind of like, all right, that was pretty fun. The memories that we made, the experience, it was pretty cool. But
it was fun. I wish, my basically it was me and Devin and his friend that come down with him. I can't think of his name, and I know he's gonna be mad at me for not remembering it, but can't. That was basically my pit crew, and that's where I was mad, just because all my pit crews, my father-in-law, my nephew, and
we were all jamming out at a concert.
Well, yeah, they were all jamming out, and I was over derbying, which my nephew was mad because his wife wanted to go to Fan Fest and he wanted to go to the Derby, so it's just one of those deals.
So, do you have any other plans besides driving Hurricane this year?
I haven't made any. Tyson gave me a plan, whether or not I'd follow through with it.
Let's hear
He
it.
gave me his dad's car from last year and said, "Here, try an '09." And I says, "All right, whatever." They were gonna cut it up, and I says, "Oh hell, I'll give you a scrap price for it because their cages, they're freaking massive, they're huge, and the car was straight as an arrow." And I'm like, "If you're gonna just scrap it, I'll come give you scrap price." And Derek just says, "Come get it."
That
Okay.
sounds like a great car for UTC and Juab.
Other than I can't leaf it at UTC.
I mean,
Juab will probably be the number ticket for it.
I for some reason thought the UTC was going to allow the Leafs.
For what I could read of the rules, they followed yours to a T.
Huh. Yeah, because when I talked to Norm originally when they called me, he was
And
asking.
maybe they changed it, or maybe I missed it in the rules.
Yeah.
I haven't run UTC for a long time. That last time I went there, I kind of got my butt handed to me. So
I think you and I were in the same heat, and I got my ass kicked in the heat and put over the wall.
your trunk looked like my trunk in Juab last year.
It was bad.
It was bad.
I think that's the fastest I've ever pulled my stick.
That car is one of the stronger cars that ran around Utah last year for sure. I think, and if I remember right, Derek kind of got pushed up in the dirt berm. I think he had like a broken tie rod end, but that car could have plenty of life left. That car literally could win any show it goes to.
Tyson told me, he says, "You'll get sick of running it before it's probably going to die." And I said, "Well, I'll put you to the test, man." That's what I told him. I'll put it to the test.
It's not that hard to strip them leaves off and do a Watts link conversion on her either, bud.
Well, the leaves are gone. I have the Watts link sitting in my garage.
It's time for Watts link conversion, bud, and that opens up possibilities everywhere.
I have the Watts link sitting right here to do it. I just never done one before.
Yeah.
But it's possible. I don't know. I got to get it in here and really decide what direction.
Well, get this one out under your belt and go get your W at Merkin, and then you can start getting. If you do good, you'll get that Derby bug again.
Got to get the motivation. I got to get the bug. After 22 years, it's surprising how fast you can lose this bug.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We were going to town in the winter. As soon as the weather changed, I was like, oh, I'd rather be outside.
And that's it. I jumped on this one. Mine's basically paying away from being done. And I wanted to get it done while it was cold because I knew once the weather hit, I would want to be anywhere but my garage.
Yep.
So, and it's right. And that's what's pushing me to not want to do this other car was it's warm and I want to go on a mountain or anything but this.
I don't think I've been camping for 2 years.
Yeah. I've been a couple times. I go like once a year.
I think the last time I was camping was with you at Bear Lake.
Yeah.
So it's been.
My wife makes it a point that we go camping before anything else happens because my summers get really hectic after July, and that's what makes me really have a hard time running shows. Is I sell produce down here in Richfield, and so from end of July basically till October, every weekend I go to Panguitch, and it really puts a hectic on what I can do and where. And
yeah, that's a lot of work, especially when you're gone all the time. When you come back, the
only thing you want to do is spend time with
family and yard work and all that crap. It's hard to get back out in the shop.
I've got plenty to keep me busy between. We got full-time job, then you got that produce, and then me and my wife started selling chickens lately, believe it or not. And then we're chicken farmers. Oh man, are we chicken farmers? And then I do firewood and a bunch of stuff just to keep me busy.
That's good though.
So before we let you go, 23 years of Derby, and tell us one of your favorite stories that you've had over the years.
Probably my favorite was getting my nephew involved and running with him the last couple of years has been we went to we went to Fairview last year, and I just had my stock built Cordova, and he had a T-Bird that I got given to him. And just going up there and running with him, it's not even just my favorite, it's just running with him and seeing how far he's he's evolved in the last. God, he's only been doing it 6 years, right? No, he's been doing it. My youngest is. Well, I'll even give you a better story. So his first year, he won Hurricane down there in a car,
Is this
and I
Bradley?
was Briley.
Yeah.
So we were in my garage. My wife went down. She was pregnant with my youngest kid, and we were sitting here in my garage getting cars ready. My wife calls me and says, "Hey, you're not derbying today." And I says, "What the hell? You can't tell me what." She says, "No, we're having a kid. You need to get down here now." And
Oh,
I'm like,
shit.
"Son of a whatever." So I'm sitting in the hotel or in the hospital room, and he's literally down there derbying. The little sucker wins it. And I think it was only his second. No, it's his second year, and I'm like, "You look lucky little sucker." Just seeing somebody that I've mentored over the years, take off and
He's a good driver.
Yeah.
I remember
he's
running against him in Orderville.
he won it. He won Orderville the 1 year too down there.
Yeah.
And lucky little sucker.
Hey,
But,
sometimes you get lucky. I mean, I think Jackson Johnson was like 16 when he won
16,
Nephi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then, I won my first derby at 16 out in Vernal. Every now and then you get lucky.
I think I was.
I'm still waiting on that lucky.
It'll happen.
Well,
I'm probably gonna retire before it happens, but
Hey, sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then.
yeah,
I'm a living example of it.
Nate won Heber in 2007. 2008, and so it can be done.
It definitely can.
I'm more proud of the Mad Dogs than I am of winning. Really, honestly, I'd rather.
Those are who people remember. The people that are driving hard.
Yeah, I'd rather put on the show and just who are they going to remember? Who won it 14 times, or who they or
Well,
man, that dude.
I've always said too. Who cares what people even think?
I don't.
As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
What do you derby for? And you know what? Like I know people that want to win. That's why they derby. They want to win, and that's great. But
I'd like to once to win it, just to know it, just to say I done it, and then past that, it's whatever. We'll see where it goes from there. But I don't know. I think and that's the problem is I've won so many Mad Dogs, and I honestly, truly believe this. You won so many Mad Dogs, it puts a big old bullseye right on your door.
They don't want to get hit by you.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I remember I ran a Rabbit Rumble days was probably my funnest derby.
Those were good days.
They were. I remember full tracking, Robbie Van Wagner, Rocker Robbie, in that '58 Lincoln, and I put his trunk in his back seat. That hurt so bad, but man, that was my driving style.
You remember how much shit talking we all used to do on
shit
the old Weed Crash?
On Weed Crash, yeah. They still call me Bear Goggles to this day. I put that on there just to talk shit, and man, I had people stirred up. Adam, I had Casey Shields, everybody.
Oh, yeah. I remember that was the greatest thing about going to the Rumble was.
I honestly, you look back in the beginning times, Rabbit Rumble was probably one of my favorite shows.
It was. You had 3 football fields to hit somebody.
That track is huge. That is a fun track.
My first experience going is when you drove that Cordoba and you full tracked the kid and every single one of your tires was off the freaking ground.
Yeah. That thing, that track.
It didn't matter if full track was east to west or north to south. I mean, that thing is huge.
Yeah. Didn't you roll 2 different cars in that?
Yeah, I rolled. Yeah, Paul Cox beat me for Mad Dog. I lost with 2 rollovers, and his was almost my Robbie Layton experience. Paul Cox's rollover that year.
I remember that poor Joe Harwood.
Yeah.
That was a hard hit.
He about killed poor Joe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Joe was ever the same after that.
Joe definitely didn't get a good night's sleep for years.
Yeah.
He had flashbacks of a truck coming at him.
Yep.
Yeah,
you have flashbacks, Robbie?
What's that?
You have flashbacks, Robbie?
And honestly, that hit happened so fast that by the time it was over, he was sitting on my headers, and I had no idea what the hell had just happened.
And you went wheels to wheels, right?
Wheels to wheels. I mean, basically what happened is my tires popped the bead on the driver's side, which caused it to go all the way over.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was wheels to wheels.
I just remember going, "Holy shit! Did that just happen?"
And he thought he killed me. He really did.
Oh, yeah.
And my poor wife was pregnant.
Driving in that heat, and as I looked over and was seeing his car flying through the air, I didn't even know what happened.
You set him up for that hit, Brad.
I did?
Yeah. You pushed me passenger side too that way, and for some reason my engine stalled or something, and
He's
then
a jackass. You can call it what
well,
it is.
Yeah.
it happens.
He's a bully.
Team driving at its finest, right? I mean, I didn't say that.
Hey,
See, you were in a team show.
I think that was when Robbie and I were driving on teams. Like we drove like 3 team shows.
You were in the Thunderstruck Shocker, and he was in that blue Cadillac.
Was it Thunderstruck or Thunder Buddies? I can't remember.
Thunder Buddies for life.
Yeah. Well, awesome, Jayden. It's been great talking to you. We
didn't talk much about Hurricane very much, but you know.
No, but guess what? It's in 2 weeks. We can circle back around and see what you thought of the team show.
Yeah. See how I felt about everything, and
I think it's going to be a good show. So I
think it's really bummed I'm missing it, to be honest with you.
It's going to go one of two ways. It really, truly is. It's either going to be a balls out, full on junk fast, or it's going to be a full on bag fest.
Well,
because everybody's afraid that their motors. You know, you put a built motor in basically a stock car, it's going to be.
To that, I will say, yeah.
But some of them 80s cars, I mean, you can take. I've seen these box Vics, front bumpers as high as the headers, and then they go out and pull them back down, throw a couple plates on them, and they're straight again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've run these since 2010, so I've pretty well got an idea where they're going to bend.
Yeah, I think it's going to hold up pretty like better than you would probably imagine. But
the other thing to think about too is everybody's built the same as you.
Exactly. So when you're hitting hard, you're hitting soft stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're in Halloween Havoc, then it's hard stuff hitting soft stuff and soft stuff hitting.
I got rocked a couple times at Halloween Havoc. Like I literally had a headache half the ride home. I think
my shoulder still hurts from you hitting me in the trunk once, Brad. Yeah, Halloween Havoc.
You are a bully.
Pictures it didn't happen.
I know a fellow that probably took pictures.
Yeah, it was in that little silver Malibu that I ran up when it was at the Stansbury Park or whatever.
Okay. Back when Havoc was at Stansbury? You don't remember that?
I think he was in a Dova or an R body or something.
Did you run that one?
I ran.
Or was it what the hell's that other foreign part?
Which one? In Twiller or Ogden?
It was in Ogden, but it wasn't
the far part.
That was the R body.
And that thing was nasty.
That car went through 11 derbies. And
yeah, that trunk shot, dude, those ones that you don't see hurt worse much more.
I tried junking that car that night. I mean, it was done. But it still drove out of the arena. Like that thing was bent in every which place. But that was like the little engine that could cars.
Yeah. And I ended up running that Malibu for the next couple of years. Well, that's the one that Robbie rolled me 360 in.
Okay.
And that same car, it would not die. Finally, I just got sick of it and cut it up just because it wouldn't die.
Yeah, I've had some of them. I give them away because if I hit the track twice and get shitty luck 2 times in a row, that one's. I pull my gear out and get rid of it, and then whoever gets it, Nate, Scott,
they've been there, second place,
go and get second in them.
Well, hopefully, I get a little Shelly luck with this Vic of his. And
I will do all right. I think that's the car that's built for you.
Yeah.
They made it pretty damn easy. He left it pretty damn easy for me to get it going. Basically, I just got to bolt parts in. He left the front bumper, which I got to get back to him, obviously. I got to change the back bumper because you guys changed your ramp bumper rule. So
just take a piece of angle iron weld on there.
that's what he said to do is just angle iron on the top side, make it square, and call it a fine day. So
Yep.
Well,
So, I
Jay,
don't know.
it's been awesome having you on here.
yeah, we could talk for hours. I know
Oh,
that.
hours.
Yep.
Every time we get done, it's like, oh, we could have talked for another hour.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. No, it's good. I'd like to run Heber again. It's not never say never,
Yeah.
but it's just I gotta figure out. Team show is definitely not for me up there. That's 3 days is too much. That was a lot. 2 days was a lot. 3
especially
days
the
is too much.
fixing they're gonna have to do.
Well,
Yeah.
the good news is you can come this year and you can be the president of the swap meet.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I don't want to be that guy.
We'll even get you a
I'm-
sash.
I'll be the best guy to show up and be there, but I will not put anything together. I don't know how you guys do it. I honestly I don't want to be in. I don't want to be on this berm. I don't want to. When I'm done, I'll probably walk away from the sport and just because I know that I'll always
Have the
wish I
itch.
was still out there.
That's why I've been trying to quit for 5 years and it just isn't working.
I've quit.
I've
like
told people I was
7
going to quit
times.
for about the last 7, but here I'm still going.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, kick some ass in a couple weeks and bring
well,
home that W you deserve.
this front bumper ought to look a lot different than what it does now. So
I'm pretty sure it'll be over the headers when you're done.
I did that to Robert DeWise once in Robert Rumble or 4th of July Delta or something in 2010. So we'll see if I can do it to myself instead of him. But
Well, good luck, man. Appreciate you coming
Okay.
on. And we'll talk to you soon.
okay, thanks guys. See ya.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jayden.
Yep, you're welcome.